Hi, I'm Robin,
And I'm Kristen.
and we're going to go over looking to be.
B.
Yes,
So
this.
this was the pandemic, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
This was the album that was born after Map of the Soul. The tour was canceled.
Mm,
They had released Map of the Soul. They were preparing for their tour, and then everything shut down.
everything shut down.
And their tours had to be canceled. They didn't know if they were going to be able to perform it, and then it ended up being there was just no way it was going to happen, and they were stuck. This
Yeah,
album feels
yeah.
like that moment. It
Right.
definitely captures that isolation, that kind of like that stuck period, where things are frozen and you're just like not sure of job security,
Yeah,
or you know people, the dynamics of their relationship started changing because they were forced to be with each other 24/7.
yeah.
So it's, or without each other, like,
Right. In some
it's
cases.
it really was a hard time, and this album feels like a solid reflection of that.
Yeah. It was difficult. It was released on 20th of November 2020 and 11/20/2020, and it was that was nearing the year of just kind of like that isolation, that being away from everything that you'd known, like February of 2020, everything, the way things moved in your
Hmm.
full existence, it had totally changed. And you were right, job security, people were getting put out of their places,
Hmm.
and a lot of you know um people were kind of not only restricted to their homes, but within your home, your only place of solitude or whatever was like your bedroom.
Hmm.
So that was a place that you kind of went when you wanted to be away from everyone, but you couldn't really go
Go
nowhere.
anywhere, yeah.
So that was your place. And I remember that. I don't, of course, I don't think any of us will ever forget it, but I just remember that we had this little thing that we kind of took up in the garage, especially during the summer, and
Hmm.
we kind of like hung out in our garage, and
It
with
was
the
kind of like
garage
being
door.
outside but
Yeah,
not outside.
outside. We had the
Yeah.
garage door open, and we kind of just sat in there and chit
Mm.
chatted, and
With our
sometimes we brought it,
snacks.
yeah,
Hmm.
snacks, and then with our the music, we take the Bluetooth speaker out and just
Hmm.
listen to music and just chit chat and talk, and it
Yeah.
was just
We
it was
had,
really different.
and then we had, sometimes with the neighbors, like we would
Oh
kind of do
yes,
like a community thing
yeah,
where we would be in the driveway
yeah,
but spread out to our households. So we were, maintaining 6+ feet
right,
between
right.
households, but we had, everybody would bring their own food, and we
Hmm.
just kind of sat there and just talked, just
Yeah,
maintained a level of community
yeah,
and
yeah,
togetherness
yeah.
as best we could,
As best we could, yeah.
because your neighbors were pretty much the only people you saw, in real life,
That's it. That
because
was it.
everything was, being converted to Zoom and virtual, and
Yeah.
you were having FaceTime outings.
What was that app that came about? House Party?
Oh gosh, house
Party,
party.
yeah. House Party app.
Yeah. I
That
don't I
we
don't remember that much about that. It
we
didn't last very long.
well, you know what? It lasted into 2022, because I remember with Auntie Lala and Auntie Ann and Aunt Cheryl,
You guys were still doing
we
that.
were still
Are you
doing
sure
it.
we didn't switch to Zoom? I thought we switched to Zoom.
Maybe later on, or
Or I
sometime
switched
in
you to Zoom.
22, but we kind of stayed on House Party, because I remember having the banner, the happy birthday banner, whenever we came together the days of our birthdays.
Oh
So
yeah.
we had the happy birthday. It was just something so
Such a weird
different. It was
time.
so different.
And so when everything shut down, we were actually on vacation. We were on a
Yeah,
family vacation at Disney World.
yeah.
And I remember getting the notices that the parks weren't going to be open the next day, and I think that was like our last day
That
of
was our
our
last
trip.
day. Yeah,
Well, I still had 2
yeah.
days.
You did, but it was our
Yeah, it
last
was your
day.
guys' last day.
Yeah,
And yeah, we just had to sit in the hotel for 2 days.
But didn't you leave a day early?
We ended up leaving a day early.
Yeah.
Yeah. They let us go home, or they found a flight for us.
But it was really, I mean, to come after being in Disneyland for like what, 7 days, 6
I
days,
think we were 6 days.
and then Disney World, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and then we got home and it's like you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't do
Yeah, like
anything.
I couldn't go to work.
No, yeah.
They weren't sure how they were going to do that. Luckily, I wasn't laid off, but it was just a really weird, in limbo kind of time.
It was.
You know, you're just stuck in this void of unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only thing that was for sure was if you were in the medical field, you were working.
Which
if you were that was an essential jobs.
It was for any first responder job.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but that's over with now.
Mhm.
We're no longer there.
No.
But it was a time when they expressed their feelings deeply in
Very
this
deeply
album. In this album about that time for them.
Mhm.
And just about every case it mimicked what was going on worldwide.
Yeah. And I think that's why this album was so successful, because everybody felt like it doesn't matter who you were, you related to what was being sung about, what they wrote, because you were living in it. You were going through it, you were in the midst of it yourselves. There wasn't a part of the world that wasn't affected by this.
Right.
So everybody pretty much had the same or similar feelings. That isolation, that uncertainty, that confusion as to like what happens now. What is the world going to look like? What am I going to look like in the world? It was just a lot of questions, no answers. And I think this album, it didn't matter if you were Army or not, you could find solace in this album.
Yeah.
Although, and it just came to me, do we know why they named it B?
You know what? I didn't come.
We will have to look that up, because that would be something interesting to know, like why they named it B. Just like, is it the simpleness of being, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not gonna try to speculate. Squeaks. Her pencil squeaks.
Sorry. I just
just making a note.
Yeah, just making a note.
All right, so now let's start on with Life Goes On.
Life Goes On, yeah.
So this song is, and actually I think I had shown you that Alicia Keys had done a cover of this song.
Yes.
Of the chorus of this song, in a performance. God, I think it was the following year. It's 2021 or maybe 2022.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember the year she did that, but yeah. The melody was beautiful. I love the melody on this song. It was really, really. It caused me to pause.
It was one of those songs where it's like you listen to the lyrics after, like, you get it translated in whatever language you need it translated in if you don't speak Korean. But you look at the lyrics and you're like, okay, that makes sense to me. I understand that. But it's kind of a hopeful song, because in the stillness of the pandemic, you realize life is still happening. Life is still going on. Things are happening in the world. Nature is naturing.
Yes, which we've seen a lot of.
So like life is still going on. The day is still passing, and it's just a matter of how it's perspective. But it's like that slow motion moment in movies where the main character is watching everything happen normally around them, but they feel like they are moving at half speed. And that's what it feels like this song is about. The pandemic halted everyone, but life continued. Our days look different, but the same 24 hours passed just as they always do. It just feels both sad and hopeful.
Yeah. I put, no matter what we go through and how much it may feel like time has stopped, it continues to go on. During the beginning of that time, it was full of uncertainty. How was it going to be handled? If the information we were getting was correct and accurate, it was just, there was a lot of uncertainty, but time, it was moving on. It was still, fluid in what life was happening, and fluid in life was happening, but we weren't moving, as a being. We weren't moving, we weren't going anywhere, we weren't doing it, people weren't coming over. I mean, it kind of got a little lax later on, but initially it was like everybody is a danger to your personal, space and stuff. So
Did you have a favorite part of the song?
you know what, in the first verse when it said streets erased of footprints and I lie here falling to the ground, that I don't know if you remember, but I remember a couple of times going out, like to get toilet paper and all that stuff.
The
But
essentials.
going, yeah, and there was no one on the street.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody there, and the area we live in is it's moving. It's
Yeah,
stuff
certain
is going
stores
to,
are
yeah,
definitely crowded.
right. It was just so empty, and even to the point where when we said that wildlife is still going on in the middle of the day, we seen wildlife walking the streets
Mm-hmm.
like this is where they were supposed to
Yeah.
be, but they were comfortable in that because there was no beings,
Yeah, there were no humans that
humans
were
out there to kind of
posing a
be
threat.
yeah, and causing concern for them. And that was I distinctly remember that, and how it just seemed so empty, so
I remember that empty,
non-moving,
yeah, that empty feeling driving on the freeways that are
yeah,
normally packed,
packed,
especially during the rush hour times.
yeah,
And it's going to take you a long time to get from point A to point B because there's traffic, but just going down the freeway and there's no cars, maybe one or two
yeah,
at the busiest points of the day, like it was just so surreal. We
yeah.
have a parking or we have a freeway near us that we call the parking lot because it's always got traffic.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what time of day it is; it always has traffic. And just seeing that clear, that was weird.
yeah,
That was so weird. I think it was in that moment that I was like, oh, this is real.
yeah.
I think it's really affecting everybody. My favorite part, I like Suga's and J Hope's line, but I like Suga's line Suga's verse because he goes through talking about how the world is changing and things are changing between people, but luckily, thankfully, between BTS and Army, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
And
Yeah.
but his verse also is his intro to his song Life Goes On his solo album.
Mm.
So it's such an interesting, like, I like how they do it. I know J-Hope does it with Airplane. He has a song called Airplane, and his intro, I think, he uses in his verse in Airplane Part 2, or part of it. So it's interesting how they reuse their parts like that and then tie it into either the group project or take it from the group project and bring it into their solo. It's always taking a piece of BTS with them. But yeah, I like that
Absolutely,
whole, because the whole point of the song, I think, is to recognize that even though this is happening, the stillness, but the life that's still continuing, they wanted to emphasize that the relationship between BTS and Army is strong and
still
is not
fluid.
going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So I definitely
absolutely.
noted
That's a
that.
good choice. Yeah, that's a good like. That is a good like.
Thank you. All right, and then now we're going to Fly to My Room. And this is a unit song.
Yes.
This is Jimin, V, and Suga and J-Hope. Okay, so Jimin, V, Suga, and J-Hope.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts on this song?
My thoughts on this song. It was Fly to My Room. Like we had said before, that was a place that
That was the only place you could go
yeah, you
to
could
escape.
go. But then while you were there, you probably had, and I'm going across the spectrum of age here, different thoughts and ideas that was going on when you kind of put yourself in there and quiet, and it was your space for that time. And you probably came up with so many different things. People, I know that people uh, did some college courses and begins working on a new language and stuff. So it was a lot of different
Mhm.
things. But it says the feeling of stillness, time stopped moving, and that was what it was about, what it is to know a time like this. Oh, okay, that's it. So ordinarily, this kind of isolation or stillness wouldn't happen,
Mm.
n- within life prior
To the
to
pandemic, yeah.
pandemic. So that's to kind of get used to it and know what life is like this is was really an eye opener. Yeah.
When in history, I'm not a huge history buff, but like has when was the last time there was a situation of stillness like this? And I think I know, but I wonder if I'm missing something. Like the last time the world kind of stood still like this for an extended period of time where there was so much uncertainty, not necessarily isolation, but just not knowing what's going to happen to the state of like to your livelihood.
I don't know if the world had this feeling, but I would say 9/11. We as a nation, I
Mm.
think had that feeling. I
I
remember
was going to
me
say the Great Depression.
probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so, because a lot of things that happen as far as food,
Scarcity and
and
stuff
things
like
like
that.
that
Yeah.
happened then.
Yeah.
But I remember 9/11 not feeling um
Secure.
safe,
Yeah.
and constantly looking at the sky
Mm. Hmm.
all the time, going out and looking up at the sky. So that was a time when, I mean, we didn't have the situation with our jobs and things like that. I know
Mm.
people in Manhattan, they kind of
They had a lot
they
of
stay,
uncertainty.
yeah, they
Yeah.
had that kind of uncertainty, and not going to work because of course there was so much going on, especially if you live down there,
Hmm.
or even work down by the Twin Towers. You couldn't go down there.
Yeah.
There was no way.
There was
You
no. Yeah.
had to you had to stay home. And
Hmm.
I don't know how things happen, and because it would take time to relocate offices and set up offices
Hmm.
and things to that effect. But I remember that time of being uncertainty, there being some uncertainty, and just an idea of, okay, so what are things going to look like moving forward from this,
Hmm.
and would it ever happen again? Because technically, I want to say it was in 93. There was an attempt.
91.
It was 91.
Hmm.
There was an attempt on the World Trade.
Wait. Now I'm confused. Maybe I'm.
I'm.
Maybe it is 93.
It was. I think it was 93 that there was an attempt
I'm
on.
over here acting like I knew. I was like a child.
You
I
was
was in
what,
elementary
5?
school.
You were
I was
5.
like, it was 1991. Know your history. I just said I'm not a history buff.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. That
But
was my
yeah,
quick moment of trying to sound intelligent. It was probably 93.
yeah, it was that attempt, and they had bombed the parking structure,
Mm-hmm,
thinking
mm-hmm.
that it was going to bring the building down, but it didn't. And
Yeah.
and then we had the Oklahoma bombing,
Oh gosh, I remember that.
and
But those weren't moments where time really kind of stood still
no,
for the
no,
majority.
but I'm talking
I'm,
about go
and
ahead.
that's what I was trying to think on a like a scale like this, like the pandemic. Now, I don't think that, like I said, I'm not a history buff. I don't think the Great Depression affected the world. Was everybody in a depression, or was it just us?
I think it was just us. I
Well,
I don't remember. My
feels
mom was just
familiar.
a my mom was just a kid, and because she was born during the depression.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
But
I think, but having even at the national level, just that kind of in limbo, not knowing um, where you were going to get your next meal, or if you would have enough money to take care of your family, or to keep your home. Um, I think it was the same situation because with
in
the
that
pan,
aspect, yes,
yeah, and that's what I was asking.
yes, in that
So I
aspect,
think I
yes.
don't think anything has happened between the Great Depression and the pandemic that
No.
resembles that.
No.
But yeah, that stillness, that uncertainty, that lost, and really kind of relying on your household unit as your only source of community, comfort, um, escapism, I guess, because you had to get creative during the Great Depression in order to make ends meet, and same thing with the pandemic. You had to get creative to try to figure out, how you were going to come out of this not worse than you went in.
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah, I think it's akin to the Great Depression, I guess,
Yeah.
but on a
Yeah.
global scale.
Yeah. Now with the virus being the center, because the Great Depression, of course, was financial,
Mm-hmm.
but the virus being, I think it was the oh my goodness, it's right on
Spanish
timber.
influenza.
Yeah, the Spanish
So
influenza.
yeah,
Yeah,
so the pandemic was like the Spanish influenza
yeah,
meets the Great Depression.
yeah.
Yeah,
Great crash.
yeah.
So yeah,
We were really going through it.
yeah, and this was something that we were all experiencing the same thing at the
Mm-hmm.
same time,
Mm-hmm.
worldwide,
There was no like, oh,
worldwide.
it's rough over there. I'm
Yeah,
glad I'm over here. Like
yeah.
every corner of the world was
Everybody was
in a.
experiencing it, and it was hard. It was hard because there was just no, what do you do? There was no thought of how to render through it.
Because we weren't because there was so much uncertainty, we weren't sure. And I feel like things changed so quickly. It's like, this was okay, and then suddenly it's not, and you have to do this, but now, switching to this. Um and I think that there were so many people, because you had so many people that were not believing that it was a real threat, and were still trying to operate as usual, and just put a lot of people in
Danger.
danger
Yeah.
of, or at risk of catching uh, COVID. And for some people, it was, you got it and you did your time in your isolation, you took your meds and you waited it out. But for some people, it was a life threatening
Yeah,
situation,
definitely.
and you don't know, like, you to demand people work in an office when everybody is, working remotely, things like that were just really unsafe and inconsiderate.
Yeah, it
um
was.
Requiring, or the requirement of masks and not abiding by that, and, calling stupid, it's, you can feel how you want to, but if you go into a business and they say they require masks, if you want to be a patron of that business, you wear a
Wear a
mask
mask.
regardless of your feelings. You respect the policy. I mean, you may feel like their prices are outrageous, but you're going in there and you're buying the stuff and you're paying it. So, just put the mask on for the time you're
Mhm.
in there, and then when you get out, take it off. Like, I just didn't understand the lack of consideration and the lack of sympathy, or even empathy, actually.
Empathy, yes.
The lack of empathy of some people, um when it came to situations like this. But then there were other countries where you just didn't see that. It was just,
Mm.
everybody was following the rules and trying their best to get through it. And then you had some countries where you were dealing with this individual mindset where it's like, well, I don't want to, so I'm not going to. And it's like, okay, but this is not a time for this is a time for the collective we,
Yeah.
and the collective we need this.
Yeah.
So
It's just the idea of just having no empathy or feeling for what someone else
could be going through,
could be going through.
or could be at risk
Right.
for.
I mean, that thought is like, no, someone could literally die.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm
still
gonna
so.
be honest. I hated wearing the masks,
Mm,
but
yeah.
it was a requirement, and I did it when I went into public places,
Yeah.
because that's just what you do. I wanted this thing to pass, and I wanted things to go back to normal as quickly as possible, and I was trying to do my part. Um, Yep, I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Fly to my room.
Well, yeah, fly to my room.
Fly to my room. So I put, this song captures everything we felt during the pandemic: the loneliness, feeling stuck and hopeless, the desperation to just be anywhere but our rooms, but using your imagination to survive your isolation.
Yeah.
And
That was it.
and like you said before, that was where you went. Like if you were in a house full of people and you just wanted to be, away, that was, you went to your room. You went to your room, and in your room, you could learn a new skill. You could talk to somebody on the other side of the world, watch YouTube videos, and escape to wherever your imagination dreamed. um there's a line in the song about ordering food, and even though it's mediocre, like it's, it is what it is, and you just kind of made the most of what you had and what you were working with, because that was your only
That was it.
option.
That was it.
So yeah, I ordered food and had it delivered. And sorry, the cat's got the zoomies. Mittens.
She wants to play.
She wants to play.
She wants to play.
We're almost done. So it is just, it literally is just fly to my room to escape the crazy that is going on in the world, and just create my own world where I can be happy and relax and see a different point of view.
And it's like taking that situation in our lives at that time and just sitting it over here and bring forth something else that would, incite joy.
It's like taking a time out from the
yeah,
sadness to try to get a little happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
All right, now we're gonna move on to Blue and Gray. Now, this song. Okay. This song, I absolutely love this song before I knew what it meant. I felt the sadness. I felt the depressive state of mind. And it really is just a song about the sadness that overtook a lot of people during this time. I mean, there were a lot of people that they had to slow down their lives. And I think at that point they learned a lot about themselves. Like, they do have mental disorders or different things like anxieties, depression. And if you're always on the go, how do you have the time to, or when do you have the time to stop and assess yourself? So I think this was a big time for therapists. I hate to say it was a good time to be a therapist, but it probably was a good time to be a therapist during the pandemic. She just keeps racing back and forth.
I know.
Yeah, so you had a lot of people that were dealing with their blues and grays,
Yeah.
And I was one of them. I put this song is so sad, and honestly, it's how I felt during the pandemic. I was drawn to this song before seeing the translation. It felt familiar, and I said, RM's verse feels like acceptance of the sadness and of the gray.
And I had kind of broke down the blue and gray, kind of looking at the colors in and of themselves, because they say colors spike certain things, in your life, in your being, and blue and gray can set off a wide range of emotions in and of themselves. Blue, calmness, serenity, trust, reliability, intelligence, and wisdom. Gray,
but there's also the expression of being like blue, like it's sadness, like you're sad, you're blue.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Were you getting to that?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No. Well, yes, I was, because it kind of, yes, I was. Gray is neutrality, balance of practicality, and what is this? Solidarity. But both colors also engages emotions of sadness, melancholy, and soberness. Somberness. Okay. Those are the emotions that V was inspired by.
Yes. So yes. Also, this song was actually supposed to be a V solo in all English.
Right.
And the group heard it, and they decided they wanted to put it on the album. But yeah, it was supposed to be part of his mixtape. And then there's a snippet of the original version, the English version, in an episode of BTS's show In the Soup, which I don't remember hearing it when I watched it, but
We
watched the YouTube clip of it. But when I watched the actual episode, I don't remember hearing it, and I might need to go back and rewatch the episode. But we did look it up on YouTube, and there is the clip where you hear it in the background. And it's the English version, the original version, like it was supposed to be, of just him. And they decided, okay, you know what? Yeah, this feels very fitting for this album, and they decided to put it on the album. So it was translated to Korean and fit for all of the members to participate. And I like the performance of this song. In that one music show performance. No, it wasn't a music show. It was the one where they're in the room with the flowers. I don't remember what performance that was, but I loved it. It was great. It was great. I just remember thinking like, oh, this feels pandemic-y. If that makes sense.
I like the music video. I wrote that it was a way to express what he was feeling.
Was that a music video? Maybe that was a music video. Yeah, we watched with the flowers.
Yeah,
that was a music video. I thought that was a performance
when they were in that
the concrete room. With the
right.
I thought that was a performance. I don't know. Whatever. We liked it.
Yes,
we both liked the same thing.
But I put it. He translated that from taking the emotion, from the heart to the visual, which was the eyes. So not in hearing it, you feel the emotion. In watching it, you can see what that emotion sort of represents visually. And that's what I liked about the video, and also the other side of the actual song. I don't know if you can get what I'm saying. When you're listening to the song, you feel it internally. You feel it emotionally, right? But when you look at the video, it transfers that to visually. What it would look like visually.
What the emotions look like.
Right, what the emotion, right. So
okay.
So that's what it took me from one side to the
okay. It took you from the inside out.
Inside out, right. Okay.
All right. So yeah, I think we'll quickly talk about the skit. There's really not much to talk about. They just talk about being Billboard #1 artist and what that looks like for them and how that's going to change their direction. But they really are just kind of proud of that achievement.
Absolutely.
Of being a Billboard #1 artist, which of course, they deserve.
Yeah.
So it was made in August of 2020. Which was August 31st in Korea, but it was September 1st here, and they had achieved their first #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with Dynamite. So they're just having a moment of recognition. I was gonna say quiet recognition, but it wasn't so quiet. If you listen to the skit, it's not quiet at all. But yes, they do just highlight that achievement and their feelings about it and what that means for them now that they're Hot 100. They're #1 Billboard artists.
Yes.
On the Hot 100. So we'll go ahead and end here for part 1 because I feel like we've been talking for a while. And we'll come back with telepathy.
Yeah.
Stay and Dynamite. So we'll talk about those.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and go now.
Yeah. Bye.